What's up, everyone? Welcome back. So we all know Yellowstone National Park, right? It's famous for geysers like Old Faithful, those massive bison chilling everywhere, and of course the fact that the whole park is basically sitting on top of a giant supervolcano. It's like the planet's most beautiful ticking time bomb. But what if I told you that this already massive world-famous park is getting bigger? Yeah, you heard that right. Yellowstone is expanding, and the crazy part is, scientists are still piecing together exactly why. Let's break this down. When we say Yellowstone is expanding, we're not talking about the park's boundaries on a map. We're talking about the ground itself. The entire Yellowstone Plateau caldera, which is the massive bowl-shaped depression left by the last supereruption 631,000 years ago, is breathing. It's literally rising and falling over time. Think of it like a giant chest, slowly inhaling and exhaling. From about 2004 to 2010, scientists noticed something wild. The ground was rising at a record pace, about 3 inches per year in some spots. That might not sound like much, but in geological terms, that's sprinting. It was the fastest uplift ever recorded there. So, what's causing this geologic deep breath? The most obvious suspect is the magma chamber underneath. This isn't a big cave full of liquid hot rock like you see in movies. It's more like a hot, semi-molten, spongy rock body, miles and miles beneath the surface. The initial theory was simple. More magma must be flowing into this chamber from deeper within the earth. More stuff pushing in from below means the ground on top gets pushed up. Makes sense, right? It's like pumping more air into a tire. The tire expands. For a while, this was the leading explanation. The ground goes up because the magma chamber is getting recharged. But then, something changed. After 2010, the uplift started to slow down, and in some areas, the ground actually started to sink again, or subside. This is where the story gets really interesting and where the scientific mystery deepens. If the uplift was just due to a steady injection of new magma, you wouldn't necessarily expect it to just stop and reverse like that. Science is all about testing ideas, and when the data doesn't quite fit the theory, it's time to look for a better one. This is where a team of brilliant researchers, including Dr. Bob Smith from the University of Utah, a guy who's been called the king of Yellowstone geology, started looking at other possibilities. Using super-precise GPS stations scattered all over the park, they could track the movement of the ground down to the millimeter. What they found was a more complex and fascinating picture. They proposed that it wasn't just magma causing the ground to rise. Instead, they believe a huge blob of hot rock and fluids, a mixture of magma, superheated water, and gases, got trapped under the caldera's caprock. Think of this caprock as a super strong sealed lid on a pressure cooker. This blob, estimated to be the size of the city of Los Angeles, was sitting about 6 miles below the surface, pushing everything up from beneath. The sheer pressure from this trapped mass of material was enough to bulge the ground upwards. But why did it stop rising and start falling? The researchers believe that the intense pressure eventually caused a crack in that strong caprock lid. It didn't break open in a big, dramatic way. Instead, it seems a weakness or a fault in the Earth's crust gave way. This allowed some of that trapped, pressurized magma and fluid to escape sideways, moving out from under the caldera and flowing horizontally for miles. Imagine you have a water balloon and you're squeezing it. If you poke a small hole in the side, the water will squirt out and the balloon will deflate. That's essentially what they think happened underground. The pressure was released, and as that material moved away, the ground above it started to sink back down. This discovery was huge because it showed us just how dynamic and complicated the plumbing system under Yellowstone really is. It's not just one big tank of magma. It's an intricate network of channels, chambers, and faults, all interacting with each other. The hot rock and fluids aren't just moving up and down, they're moving sideways, finding new pathways and redistributing pressure across the entire region. Now, before anyone starts packing their apocalypse go bag, let's be crystal clear. This does not mean Yellowstone is about to erupt. Scientists at the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory have said this over and over again. These cycles of uplift and subsidence are a normal part of the volcano's behavior. They've happened many times in the past, and they'll happen again. In fact, this kind of activity, where pressure is released gradually through these smaller movements, might actually make a massive eruption less likely. It is like letting steam out of a pressure cooker bit by bit, instead of letting it build up until the whole thing explodes. The ground motion at Yellowstone is constantly being monitored. We have an incredible array of instruments: GPS, seismometers to detect tiny earthquakes, gas sensors, and even satellite radar that give us a real-time health check of the volcano. Every little tremor, every millimeter of ground movement is recorded and analyzed. If there were any signs of an impending eruption, like rapid, extreme ground uplift across the entire caldera and intense earthquake swarms, we would have weeks, if not months or years of warning. Right now, the volcano alert level for Yellowstone is at normal, which is the lowest level there is. So what's the big takeaway from all this? First, it's a stunning reminder that our planet is a living, breathing entity. The ground beneath our feet isn't static. It's constantly shifting and changing in ways we're only just beginning to understand. Second, it's a testament to the power of scientific inquiry. We started with a simple idea: more magma makes the ground go up. But by gathering more data and questioning our assumptions, we uncovered a much richer and more accurate story. It's a detective story written in rocks and measured by satellites. The expansion and contraction of Yellowstone isn't a sign of imminent doom. It's a sign that the volcano is alive and well, going through its natural cycles. And thanks to dedicated scientists, we're able to watch it, learn from it, and appreciate the incredible geological forces that shaped this amazing landscape. It makes a visit to the park even more awe-inspiring, knowing the sheer scale of what's happening just a few miles beneath your hiking boots. So next time you see a headline about Yellowstone, don't panic. Get curious. The story of this expanding giant is one of the greatest scientific adventures happening on our planet right now, and we all have a front row seat. Thanks for hanging out and diving into this with me today. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Earth's inner workings, do me a favor and hit that like button, and definitely subscribe so you don't miss our next adventure. Let me know in the comments what other mind-bending science topics you want to explore. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.